Something's gonna change. Seven.
Greetings and salutations, Earthlings. I am Teresa Zube, astrologer, tarot reader, and chaos wrangler, here to map the bullshit and the brilliance in the stars. Today I want to talk about the new moon in Virgo because I think it's interesting in a lot of different ways. First of all, I feel like new moons often get overlooked. And that's because a new moon is when there is potential. It's when we put forth intentions and create things. It's possibilities. And sometimes I don't feel like we're looking for possibilities. We're looking for problems, often at least. And even demonstrated in the sky, you can't see the new moon. That's the whole point of it. So the full moon represents when things come to fruition, or everything is revealed, or the light is shining on everything, when we can see a project or a situation at its fullest. And so full moons are about, we either let go of what we're seeing that we don't like, or, if we are intentionally moving towards something and it's just not working, full moons are a good time to let go. But full moons are just really recognizable in the sky. But I love new moons. And this new moon, there is going to be at 0 degrees of Virgo. And the next full moon is going to be get us into eclipse season. Additionally, there's going to be another new moon in Virgo. This happens sometimes, because the Gregorian calendar is not perfect. But what I see here is kind of, we're going to get 2 opportunities to really encapsulate, embody, or dig into the energy of Virgo. And the first one, I think, is going to be one where we can take an opportunity, and then once we hit eclipse season and we get into that second new moon in Virgo, I feel like it's going to become more pressing, where things ramp up a little bit. And okay, whatever you didn't want to look at, or if you were deliberately avoiding something on the new moon tonight, I'm in Central Time. This one is kind of, so it's at like 1 a.m. this morning. But if we don't take the opportunity or look for opportunities right now, then it's going to be a much more pressing matter. And Virgo is a sign of, this is a sign of all right, I'm not describing Virgo people when I say this, because everybody is like an accumulation of what's in their chart. But Virgo people can be very meticulous. This is where we want to get things right, where everything is just so. It's an earth energy. So this is like little tasks. Virgo people can be very particular, which is really fucking helpful, and it sometimes in relationships that it's every sign has their stereotypes. I'm a Cancer, we cry. That's how it goes. Virgos can be picky, but they pick because they care. It's a sign of serving others in a way that often goes under recognized. What I feel like, and this will all depend on your personal chart. If you're interested in an astrology reading, my information is down below. And feel free to reach out. But wherever this lands in your chart, in general, there's going to be a theme of, are you getting things accomplished? Are you taking care of the little things that matter? Okay, so as to the aspects of the new moon. So the new moon in Virgo is ruled by Mercury, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Right now we have Mercury in Leo moving direct. Mercury had been in retrograde. So that's a good sign. We always want to look at the condition of Mercury in order to see how this new moon is going to be feeling. I'm going to look at my chart again really quick. Pop my glasses on because I wanted to make sure. Mercury is not really an aspect to any other planets. Okay, so next I want to look at the aspects of the new moon, and this is where things get interesting. We're gonna call it interesting. So the new moon is happening in a square to Uranus. Uranus is in Gemini. And again, we're at the very early degrees. When we are at the early degrees of a sign, this is where it's the signiest place of that sign that you could be. Because, it's the beginning of it, the introduction to it. The planet just came out of another sign where it's been, and it's like, all right, I'm over that. Now I'm into this. This is new. It's different. It's exciting. So we're really amped up. We've got Uranus in Gemini in square to this new moon. So what this feels like is Uranus is it's breakthroughs. It's higher level thinking. I always say, and the new moon is ruled by Mercury, but I always say in astrology, Mercury is the lower mind. This is like 2 + 2 is 4. Uranus is that higher level thinking of like two things can be true at the same time. This is where we kind of break into more like higher concepts or, spiritual concepts. And Uranus is electricity, lightning, technology, on like a higher level. It's like an alien. It's like a hippie. It's an eccentric dude. It's the nutty professor. That's sort of the vibe that I think of with Uranus, and they're in a square. So this is something squares are uncomfortable. Those are an argument. But it just doesn't feel like if we're ready to make changes, this is the time to do it. Well, that was really disruptive. I was going to say, when I quit drinking, that was not a bad thing. But there were a lot of things that had to completely shift in order for me to get to that place. And this feels like a lower level that I feel like if there's something that you want to change, deciding you want to go to the gym or change your diet or, some sort of habit, like I want to stop doing that. That's uncomfortable. And it could just be something out of the blue. Sometimes things will pop into our head and we can ignore them or put them off and be like, not now. And it's time to pay more attention to that, to those little ideas that pop into our heads, because that means that energy is supported right now. The voices of like our guides, or if we want to call it like our inner voice, is often quieter than all of the crazy bullshit that goes around in our minds. So there's something shifting. Now, this could mean that something from like externally like puts you into a situation where you've got to change things around. That's entirely possible. I just want to outline that it's not necessary. It's not imperative. This could be like a shift that we want to do, that we want to make something in our life that's starting to feel uncomfortable. Gemini, it's a curious energy. It's like, information and facts, and maybe we're finding things out that just don't add up, or we're like, something's got to change. That's really what this kind of feels like, is something's got to change and we know it. And there's an opportunity or a possibility right now for us to do that and to embrace the energy of this new moon and begin doing something in a new way. This is not a showy or a demonstrative or, vibe at all. This is almost something that'll go under the radar that people may not even notice. Virgo is typically like a more humble kind of energy, a humble vibe. So there's that. Now, the other part of the equation is that Saturn is in an inconjunct to the new moon. Inconjuncts are uncomfortable. Saturn is authority. It's structure. It is discipline. So at the same time that we're wanting to make these changes, and inconjunct is where things are not directly opposed. So you almost can't take this energy or take this as like a straightforward confrontation. It's just a discomfort. So it's like you might want to make a change and wonder to a degree about authority, your own authority, someone else who maybe does or believes that they have authority over you. And that the discomfort of it is almost the inability to tackle it head on. Like you've got to just act of your own volition. So in summation, it's time for change. And the nice thing about Virgo is that change can be done incrementally. In fact, that's the best way to do it because that's how change sticks around. And the other nice thing about it is that you're going to get an opportunity, another new moon in Virgo. Dang it, I don't remember exactly what the date is, but September 22nd, I think, or anyway. But I would just keep an eye out and write a note. Like new moons, you don't have to have like some big weirdo ritual. Nobody's got time for that shit. Like I do it sometimes, but this is just setting an intention. Maybe even you're like, man, I've really wanted to work with the moon. I think it's incredible. Every, you get a new moon, about 2 weeks later, you get a full moon. New moon, full moon, new moon, full moon. It's like opportunity, what's working, what do I need to let go of? Opportunity, intention, beginning. It's just a really nice cycle to kind of keep yourself moving through your life deliberately and taking care of like things that come up. And it's also kind of close together opportunities to maybe even try something that you've wanted to do over and over and over again. There were times when I wanted to quit drinking and the timing wasn't right, or I was thinking I should really look at my drinking or even other habits. It's like I really want to do this. I've been working on my diet and then I cheat and I falter. But I keep trying. I'm like, and when I say diet, I just want to try to eat better. And then I'll eat pizza and then I regret it the next day. Because apparently, lactose intolerance is a thing that runs in my family as we get older, and I don't like it because I just love cheese. And so this is kind of making me think of the metaphor where I go, well, who's the boss of me? It's like Saturn over there saying, you can't eat the cheese. And or you shouldn't, but it's got to come from me. I can't blame that on anybody else. It's genetic or whatever. Maybe I can manifest that cheese is good for me, but right now it's not. So anyway, I love you guys and I hope you have a great new moon. Always feel free to reach out to me, say hello, let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. Have a great day on earth and happy new moon. Peace. Namaste.